from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
15 Tasmanian jobs are on the chopping block, with plans for Bogues Beer to be brewed on the mainland for the first time. Beverage giant Lion Nathan blaming increased transport costs as it announces a scaling back of operations at the historic Launceston plant.
For more than 140 years, Launceston workers have overseen this famous Tasmanian beer as it rolls off the production line beside the North Esk River. But this morning they were told there will be redundancies as some production shifts to the mainland.
Pretty difficult decision and very sad for everybody. There'll be 13 roles that are made redundant, and we're working through that with everybody involved.
Bogues owner Lion scaling back operations to a day shift only after deciding beer destined for interstate consumption will be brewed interstate.
We ship down 95% of the materials to Tasmania, and then we ship back 50% of the beer produced here. And we love the brewery, but this is the best way we can see to keep it sustainable and keep it going.
Blaming declining beer sales and rising transport costs.
We're very disappointed to see any closure of jobs. Bogues specifically drew attention to the cost of their freight across Bass Strait. I think there's clearly a role here for the Australian government with its Tasmanian Freight Equalisation Scheme.
Roughly half the beer currently brewed at the iconic Bogues facility is exported to the mainland, and while the company says it's committed to continuing production for the local market here, the flow-on effects of this decision will be felt by other businesses.
News like this will have a chilling impact on the city. It'll raise concerns for businesses in the supply chain, people who provide goods and services to Bogues, and what will happen to their businesses.
The bite of rising costs amplified for businesses in an island state.
It is becoming increasingly expensive to do business in Tassie, and it has always been this way. The tyranny of distance, and that used to be offset by low green energy prices, but we're seeing those disappear as well.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
And there are job losses at the university too. UTAS is preparing for major restructure and redundancies by breaking up the College of Business and Economics. It's now consulting on the changes, which would see the University College, Tasmanian School of Business and Economics and International School separated. The restructure hopes to create better streamlining, but will see the positions of College Dean and International Deputy Vice-Chancellor axed. A massive cost blowout has been revealed for the new Spirit of Tasmania berth in Devonport. State political reporter Josh Duggan joins us now with more. Josh, how much is a berth now going to cost?
Originally slated for $90 million, Kim, it's been revealed the new home of the Spirit of Tasmania is going to cost 4 times that. TT Line says the new $375 million tag of berths of works to berth 3 has gone up due to worldwide material costs and construction costs going up as well. The berth 3 also won't be ready when the new ships arrive, the first of which is due in coming months. There'll be works at other berths on the Mersey so that they can accept the new larger vessels. This of course follows read of Revelations. TT Line paid an additional $80 million to finish shipbuilders RMC to ensure that Tasmania even got the new ferries. Also now, TT Line will be fronting a parliamentary inquiry. The state-owned company is in choppy waters. Kim?
OK, thank you, Josh. Water restrictions on parts of the East Coast and Flinders Island will be lifted this weekend. Whitemark, Orford and Triabunna have been on stage 2 restrictions since April following unprecedented low rainfall over summer and autumn. Taswater says it's continuing to monitor catchment levels and weather patterns across the state. Tes Racing has inked a 5-year extension deal with global wagering giant Ladbrokes. It will see the partnership extend beyond 10 years. While the agreement doesn't mean a rise in stakes money, it does include funding to help improve on-course facilities at Sprayton and Elwick.
We're certainly stronger together and very much looking forward to doing even more together for the betterment of racing in Tassie.
Is one that continues to evolve, and that's really the exciting opportunity for us.
The new deal starts from August. Windows shattered, racist abuse and threats with knives. These are some of the circumstances workers in Hobart's northern suburbs are being forced to deal with. Community members say they're fed up of feeling unsafe and are calling for harsher penalties for young offenders.
It's frightening scenes like this, scaring workers along Moona's main street.
I'm not in
Hurling abuse and racist slurs, the shameless offenders showing a brazen disregard for the law.
They think they can get away with everything. They're, unstoppable.
Business owners have been forced to take extra measures to protect themselves.
We tend to lock the door now and stand there and wait for customers that are actually paying customers to let them in.
And it's not just the news agency being targeted by the youths.
The bottom pane of the front door had been kicked in and all smashed.
People, stealing, being aggressive, affected by drugs and alcohol, being abusive to other customers or each other.
Weapons have reportedly been used to terrorise members of the community.
A young guy, about 16 years old, come here with a knife and attacked my son and asked him to give money to him.
Of the 7,388 offenders prosecuted last year, 14% of those were aged between 10 and 17 years old.
When there's a group of 6, 13 and 14-year-olds, they are very intimidating.
Patrols are continuing and police say anyone who witnesses illegal or antisocial behaviour should report it as soon as possible. But some locals say enough is enough.
There's got to be consequences for these kids' actions. We've got to get harder. I'm sorry, if you're old enough to do the crime, you're old enough to do the time.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Preparing young Tasmanians for the workforce should be a key goal of the Education Review, according to the state's business lobby. The report's terms of reference are yet to be set, but the government is calling for universal backing.
With Tasmania's education system to go under the microscope, the line's already forming to offer up views.
If Vicky Bayliss doesn't have close consultation with industry, she's not doing her job properly. She must get out there, talk to people and be inclusive about this review.
The Education Review called by Joe Palmer yesterday could be a chance to tackle Tasmania's nation-low workforce participation rate and make sure Tasmanian kids are ready for Tasmanian jobs.
We just spoke to Matt, the business owner here, who said it's impossible to get the right skills, even in all sectors of our economy, whether you're in a mechanic, you're in a tourism business.
This disconnect between the 38% of Tasmanians who aren't even looking for work, who could be filling these sorts of roles. We need to understand that gap and really work hard to try and bridge it.
The government says the terms of reference are yet to be finalised.
Some work has started on that, but we really want to do that in consultation with Vicky Bayliss, and we also want to work through that with some of our stakeholders as well.
Also making a plea for all parties to get behind the review and righting the education ship.
That underpins your chances of success in life. And so, of course, we would expect everyone, and I have already reached out to my counterparts to say we need to be on the same page with this.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmanian News.
A Molesworth man has been charged with trafficking after allegedly attempting to import 28 grams of methamphetamine into Tasmania. Police say the 40-year-old was detected after landing in Hobart on Saturday night. The drugs appeared to be concealed inside Ziploc bags of Lego. He was remanded in custody to appear at a later date. A global study by Tasmanian researchers has found bushfires have doubled in frequency and intensity over the past 2 decades. The findings laying the blame on climate change, with calls for urgent measures to mitigate the threat.
It's an ominous sight, a wall of flames barrelling, smoke billowing. The cruel reality of a bushfire.
Those sorts of fires that release enormous amounts of energy and emission damage ecosystems. We've documented more than a doubling in those extreme fires over the last 21 years.
Over the last 6 years, wildfires around the globe have been the most extreme on record. Callum Cunningham says climate change is fueling disaster.
Climate change is producing fire weather that's more extreme. It's producing weather that dries bushfire fuels or plant matter out more fully, allowing complete combustion.
Causing catastrophic ecological destruction and putting humans at risk.
The effects of smoke actually lead to bigger health ramifications for people than the flames themselves.
With climate conditions only expected to escalate and ramp up bushfire threats. Scientists are calling for immediate action and a boost to management strategies. But there are things that can be done on a local level. While bushfires typically occur during mild summer weather, Tasmanians living in and around bushland areas should always be prepared, whether that's removing any fire hazards like wood or fuel cans and clearing any flammable vegetation. Hoping for a plan to spark change, Rebecca Gaidineris, 7 Tasmania News.
One person has been treated for non-life-threatening injuries after an altercation in Mowbray this afternoon. Witnesses describing seeing a man running up Invermay Road carrying a tyre iron before officers arrived around 1 p.m. Police say the disturbance was between people known to each other and investigations are ongoing. An Australian first fermentation hub is a step closer to opening its doors in Tasmania. Works are underway at the Tes facility in Lagana, helped along by a $1.7 million boost from the state government for equipment.
We have now north of 60 applications for using the facility, and that will range from use of the facilities for production, research and development.
Tes has a real vision for this to be a fermentation hub, so the opportunities that come with interesting, unique and different career opportunities for young people I think is really, really exciting.
Construction is on track to be completed by the end of the year. Newtown's Hidden Theatre will play host to the Australian premiere of the production Flights next month, with the Old Nick Company performing the play by Irish playwright John O'Donovan.
Set in rural Ireland in the County Clare, and it follows 3 lads that come together every year to celebrate the life of their friend that passed away when they were 17 years of age.
It's always a little bit on the outer, but that's the kind of thing that really interests me as an actor. Those kinds of characters are a little bit on the outer and kind of looking in.
The play will also have an entirely original soundtrack. Now, this is awkward. It appears a leading entertainment publication may be in need of a geography lesson. People magazine recently posted an article about the Irwin family's visit to the East African country of Tanzania. The US magazine pointing out the unpredictable terrain as the clan posed for a happy snap, but Tasmanians may be a little more familiar with the backdrop. It turns out the photos were taken at Cradle Mountain.
I'm sorry that People magazine haven't recently been to Tasmania like the Irwins have.
The magazine has yet to fix its mistake.
After just 4 training sessions together, the Tassie women aren't losing hope following the weekend's interstate loss to Queensland. Instead, they're drawing inspiration from their opponent's playing style for the second and final game of the series.
Mitchell on an angle.
Try and play how they do, a tough brand of football. So attacking the footy first, I felt like we were a little bit secondary to the football. So just having that confidence in one another that we can go in and get it out to our teammates.
They host the best of New South Wales and Canberra at UTAS next month. A day after nabbing a rare T20 hat-trick for England in the World Cup, superstar Chris Jordan is returning to Tasmania next season for another 2 seasons in purple. The skilled bowler is also handy with the bat, scoring the Big Bash's fastest 50 last year off just 17 balls. Jordan knocking back interest from other clubs as the Canes roster starts to take shape. OHA is taking an 8-goal Premier League hockey win over Canterbury as a sign it's well equipped for a repeat against the ladder leaders. But they'll need to step it up a gear in the face of University's imported talent.
They've got some real strength with some Argentinian imports, which has really helped them in getting to top spot.
While OHA's men are staying positive despite going down 3-0 on the weekend. Top priority against Uni is holding back some of their forwards.
Excellent outletting ability for themselves and a couple of quite handy forwards who can put goals away in some interesting spots. So stopping them will be the key for us.
Canterbury are sitting atop the ladder, 9 points ahead of Diamondbacks.
Good evening. 12, the top in Hobart today. Launceston and Burnie reached 14 and Devonport 15 degrees. 15 also at Strawn and King Island. Flinders Island, Low Head, St Helens and Friendly Beach is 14 degrees. Grove 8, just 5 degrees in Ooze. And Lyowini managed to double their overnight low to reach a high of 4 today. Some low cloud today over the northwest as patchy high cloud also moved over, replacing the heavy valley fog experienced this morning. Cloud streams from South Australia into western New South Wales and Victoria. Moist airflow has created the cloud over the far north of the nation and also southern WA. Tomorrow, a deep low and associated trough gather to our west. A high over southern WA extends a ridge over the mainland. Winds north-northwesterly up to 20 to 30 knots over the west and north. Winds to only 15 knots over the lakes. We do have a strong wind warning, thus for waters from Low Rocky Point up and around to Flinders Island. Hobart tomorrow, a high of 13 and cloudy, partly cloudy for Geeveston, 12 the top, 3 overnight for Bothwell, a possible shower and a top of 10 degrees. Launceston showery and 12 for Devonport, 100% chance of rain, and showers for Cressy as well, a high of 10 degrees. Burnie expecting 12 with showers. Showers increasing in the west, Strawn 12, Curry on King Island, copping some wind as well, 13 the maximum. St Helens tomorrow, a shower or 2 and 14, partly cloudy for Swansea, cloudy for Orford and 13 the maximum. On Thursday, partly cloudy for Hobart and the east coast, a few showers forecast for other districts. Showers a little more widespread on Friday, still not much over the east, and on Saturday showers right across Tasmania as the northwesterlies ease. Showers and 19 in Perth tomorrow. Wet weather also on the cards for Adelaide and Melbourne. A sunny day in Sydney and fine and 24 in Brisbane. Clouds still about, 8 degrees in Hobart, currently 11 in Launceston, Devonport mostly cloudy as well, and currently 13 degrees. That's the weather for now. Kim, on a day when you've told me I have exactly 6 months to get your Christmas present organised.
That means 6 months to be nice as well, Merv. And that wraps up your news for tonight. On behalf of the team, thanks for joining us. Good night.